Dr. Kishore, thank you so much for being with us here today. Um, I understand that you have been very consistently been in touch with the people on the ground. You have been in touch with your polling agents. You had your various campaign managers throughout the country. In your view, was there any irregularities or was there any scope of rigging? Or in your view, how transparent was the process? What was the feedback you were getting from the ground?
Jyoti, as far as I'm concerned, as you know, all the candidates had their own polling station agents, and so did I. I had probably over 30 agents all around the place, starting from Suvarnasuri corridor to the Singatoka area and Nendi area, and even in Reki Naria Voliboli. I mean, this is the places where I campaigned and I was expected to get votes from. It was quite clear indication as soon as the voting started. I was regularly in touch with these people over the mobile phone, and they were ringing me or sending text messages, or I was getting back to them. It was very clear trend that people are not voting us. My agents used to ring and say that either some places I got 30 votes or 12 votes or 5 votes, and the rest of the votes were Fiji First, and in particular 279 was getting most votes. And number of agents all over the night said that people are not voting us. This was quite regular, and most of them are voting Fiji First. As you imagine that I was so keen to know if there was any problem, so number of times I asked each of them that if there's any irregularities, are the boxes open in front of you, are the counting? All of them, almost all of them said that the boxes are open in front of them. They don't see any problem with the boxes, and the counting began in front of them, and it's just simple that people are not voting us. Apart from one polling agent in Nambila which reported a very minor glitch over 2 ballot papers, and even that was solved in half an hour, and he rang me back and said that the problem is solved and the voting is concluded, and I got 12 votes, and the rest vote went to Fiji First, in particular 279. So from this I conclude that in my view, and taking what my polling agent said, I don't see any problem. I think this was a fair and transparent system of counting, voting and counting, and simply people just didn't vote us.
And why do you think that?
Well, we had our major problem. I think one of the key problems was especially the Indo-Fijian voters, our supporters, didn't like that we were going to support Golingoli, and many of them spoke with me and say, we can't believe you people. And in 2005, when Golingoli was supposed to be brought, the Prime Minister, the bill was discussed and to be brought, we already started having problems. We were blocked, the fence was put aside the rivers, and we were blocked from taking our cattle to make them drink water. So all these problems were identified to you, and still you people are not listening to us. This was particularly told to me from people in Ranitongo, Singatoka Valley Road, and they said you people are not listening us. And again in 2005, the Prime Minister stopped it, and Chaudhary was with him, and now you people going back to looks like restoring it, and they couldn't understand why we were doing that.
So was there any form of consultation being done before the talks of post-election coalition was done with Sodalpa?
Not with me, and I don't think with the candidates. Maybe what happened in the management board, I don't know. But when I first went in the campaign center, when we were nominated and announced, I think this decision was already made. And more so when we started campaigning, every Monday the candidates used to meet, and myself, who started, a number of other candidates pointed this out, that it is not faring well with our supporters, and a statement perhaps needs to be made that we at this stage not forming coalition with any party, and we'll think about it after election. But this was also not done.
Who was it not done by?
Well, the leader, of course.
So was there at any stage the leader had assured the party that a statement will be
Yes,
released?
in one meeting it was quite clear that these are some of the factors. As we know, the whole purpose of the meeting was to give the feedback, the campaign feedback to the party and to the leader, the president, the rest. And this was done, and I think it was agreed that the statement will be made, but I don't think it was made. I didn't see it anywhere.
I understand one of the candidates, Mr. Anwar Khan, there came a point that he even stopped campaigning for himself and for the party. What were the reasons for that?
I met him in Nandi, drive between Nandi and Singatoka, and we stopped and we spoke for an hour.
When did you meet him?
During the campaign.
Right.
Yeah. He was campaigning. He said, "Look, I have packed up and I'm returning just as good you have met." So in Singatoka, we had a cup of tea and we chatted for long. He said, "I'm devastated. I'm gone. It's no point." And I said, "What happened? It is because of what Rajendra Chaudhary wrote on social media about Muslim League and Muslimization of the nation and all the rest of it." And I said, "I had a meeting, and one of the Maulana Sahib stopped him in the meeting. He said, 'Look, son, before we start the meeting,' he gave him the what was written on the social media, Facebook, and said, 'You read this. This here, your leader's son, is calling all sorts of names to your society, and here you are having a meeting for us to vote. What kind of person are you?' And he said that piece of paper was given to him to read, and after reading it, he apologized, and from that time he decided not to campaign."
Right. So I understand a lot of concerns had been raised about the manner in which Rajendra Chaudhary had either criticized individual candidates or criticized maybe the party as a whole. What was the leader's position on all this?
Well, as you know, he criticized me, he criticized Arvind Dutt, he wrote about many other societies, Muslim societies and the rest, and he was writing like a lunatic. And number of times myself and others raised this to Chaudhary, and the simple answer all the time I was given in particular is ignore him. And I ignored it, but obviously the voters didn't ignore it.
What, in your view, has been the biggest reason for the downfall, and how much of it would you attribute to Rajendra Chaudhary's behavior and attitude towards the party?
Well, in a large, quite a large bit, I think we had our leadership problem as it is, as you know. Leaders' own conviction was coming into picture, and our own coalition with Sodalfa, in particular Goli, a non-secular state, was coming out quite clearly, and also what Rajendra Chaudhary was doing, on social media. So combine all these things reflects the result we got, and we could not anything. Number of times we complained, reported, but nothing was happened, and we tried our best campaigning, trying to still convince people, and definitely looks like we were not able to. So in my view, again, this is the discussion between myself and few other candidates. We think, it's our opinion, we view that this father and son were together to make sure that the party doesn't qualify. I mean, it's my opinion that we don't qualify and none of us go to parliament, and I think they have succeeded, they have achieved it, so that the party could remain in their hand. I mean, it makes us think that way from assessing what went on during our campaign. I mean, here you go. I mean, he's son of the party, so to speak. And instead of helping any of us, he was, maligning us. Most of the time, he was maligning us, the candidates, and the rest.
A very common catchphrase that Mr. Chaudhary is famous for using is dictatorship, and whenever he was referring to the Prime Minister, Mr. Bainimarama. I understand a few of the candidates have labelled his way of leadership in the party, in Fiji Labour Party, as the same.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, during our time, when our launch of the manifesto, 2 management positions came up, and I think the decision was made behind the scene and the announcement was made. Some of us were ready to nominate. I know 1 or 2 were ready to nominate me as the treasurer's position, but that chance even was not given. The names were announced, and obviously Anana's name was announced, and whoever had a piece of paper to speak up and stand up and speak on my nomination just didn't. So this demonstrates that he seems to call others that the decision is made in a dictatorship manner and no consultation and no consensus. But I think he is the king of all.
In terms of non-secular state, was there any consultation done with even the candidates to come up with a party stand on whether they want secular state or whether they want non-secular state? Because the party president was on record for saying something else. Then the party leader was on record saying something completely different. Uh, did you think that there was sort of chaos and there wasn't any uniformity within the party?
Yeah, well, nothing as I said, nothing as such was discussed with the. We used to have our regular Monday meetings, and the purpose of this meeting was to report what was happening in our campaign, and we used to report these things. But no action was taken, and no discussion was done.
No damage control?
Nothing. Whatever we said seemed to have been falling on deaf ears, and whatever they decided, and yep, it didn't change. And I think this is why we are here, because in my campaign, quite clearly, people wanted to vote us. In particularly, a lot of people said very good things about me. They wanted to vote us. But I think they all got very scared that voting Labour Party means voting for Ngoli, particularly the Indo-Fijian supporters.
What do you think is the future of the party now?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have had rumors. I'm not been
Confirmed.
invited or anything, that they're meeting today and probably trying to take action against me. I mean, yeah, this I have heard from other candidates, but nobody has rang me to come or anything like that. But in my view, it's quite clear that the nation has voted quite strongly Fiji first, and they have voted on political stability, safety and security, and continuity. And they believe that this government, the current government, can deliver. There are some issues of high cost of living and unemployment, but I think the voters see that over a period of time, this will be resolved. And in particular, I know it myself as a financial economist that the major problem this government have had is cut off all the grants and everything like that. Once this start flowing through, as you can see, EC and UK and the rest, JICA and the rest of them all are giving thumbs up. As you know, Fiji forever been run on grant. That's a known fact. And once this thing all starts coming up, I think we will do very well. And that's what people want. People want stability. People want happy life. That we are very basic Fijians, I tell you. And we get happy with small things. We want our children to be safe, to go to school, and we make our living. And I think, taking all these things to account, I think next 4 years or next 2 sessions, I give it to Fiji first. I don't think anybody else will be able to win.
Do you think you'll be able to work with Mr. Chaudhary again?
No.
That sums it up.